So welcome everyone. I am so excited to be presenting Sophia again to all of you. Sophia Unveiled, the Fierce Love of Holy Wisdom. Oh, you all are in for a treat. And my little portion is the secret that's been kept hidden and why, which I'm sure all of you already know that, but we'll talk about it a little bit today. Let's call in sacred space. And I'm going to give you a heads up right now. This one isn't going to be found on YouTube because I'm going to play real music. You will get the recording on the page in the summit, on the event schedule page, but I couldn't bear not to play these. They're so perfect for what we're going to do this week. So we're going to do that. They'll kick us out if we use them in YouTube, so we won't. Let's all go ahead and help me call in sacred space. So just take a big deep breath in. And as we exhale, drop those grounding cords. Send your roots down, down, down into the core of the earth. I can feel all of you. And then inhale, draw that earth energy up, up, up through your body. Send it up and out through the top of the head, connecting with the heart of the divine above us. And then inhaling, drawing that cosmic energy back down, sending it all the way down into the earth, activating the as above, so below flow. And then connecting with that flow inside your body. Breathing in, breathing out, activate the as within, so without, as the universe, so the soul. Moving to the north, we welcome Mother Earth. We give such great thanks to be here right now in these physical bodies doing this sacred work. Moving to the south, we welcome water. We welcome clear, clean, current emotions. We welcome love, joy, flow, and abundance. Moving to the west, we welcome air, mind, focus, clarity. All of our guides, angels, allies, and helpers in the invisible realm. And moving to the east, we welcome fire, movement, passion, divine right action. Moving to the center, we welcome our divine feminine and our divine masculine in sacred right relationship. We call all that beautiful energy down through our bodies. We call up Mama Gaia to pull and magnetize that energy through us. And we welcome our own sweet, extraordinary souls into the circle. We ask that all of these energies be with us, pray with us, and dance with us for our mutual benefit. So most of you have been on other things with me before. You know, we always dance. We always activate those energies in our body. And I want to take this opportunity right now to thank all of you. Every time we gather in ceremony like this, we heal her as much as we heal ourselves. So I'm doing something different. I'm going to stop the share just for a moment. And play my Spotify. So if you all cannot hear this music, let me know quickly. Can y'all hear that? Can you hear the music? You can't hear it. Okay.
No.
Never mind. All right. All right. Then we're going to go to plan B. And what I wanted to play for you, we're not going to play. We're going to go ahead and play our regular music. So hang on here. Let me go ahead and reshare the screen. All right. And, oh, wait a minute. Here we go. Oh, and I realize now why it didn't play, but we're not going to fool with it now. Here we go. All right, everybody get up and move. All right. Let me get myself shown here. Okay, once again, I want to welcome everyone. Most of you know this by now, but just in case you don't, or just in case this is your first time, I am not going to be checking the text very much, just because I want to focus on what she wants to bring through. What you need to know about this summit is that I'm just the hands and feet. This is all her. Whatever happens here, whatever the people that are here, the speakers and everything they brought through, she brought through them. So let's talk about who she is. There's lots of stories floating around out there, and our experience of her. The literary version in the Pistis Sophia, Sophia is known as the first feminine principle, what we would call a goddess, but she's way beyond that. In one version of the story, Pistis Sophia, faith wisdom, Sophia the daughter, falls from grace to the earth. When she follows a light she thinks will bring her to the highest place. But she's set upon by material powers who deprive her of her own light, and she falls into the physical world of darkness. That's one version. There's plenty. I'm going to bring more as we go along. That's a very rudimentary version, but it's true. I mean, there's an element of truth in it. But in truth, she existed before anything else physical existed, and she birthed and continues to birth it all. She is the divine feminine essence behind everything. And she's written about everywhere, but here's just one version. This is from Original Meditation by Neil Douglas Klotz. And it's his translation of the Aramaic of Proverbs 8:22 through 24, speaking of holy wisdom. Holy One, unnameable, living life, past, present, future, absolutely had to have me, was envious, possessive of the very sensuousness of me right from the start. Right from the head of creation's caravan, before anything arose, at this first beginningness, I poured myself out like holy wine onto the ground, even though there was no ground, no earth, no form or individuality yet to absorb me. At that point, there was no deep, not to mention any depth upon which I could dance, as my role as the great dark, waiting to catch my breath. But I danced anyway, writhing, pausing, waiting, moving in time with my partner, knowing that what would come had not yet been. The spring of existence, of livingness, of beingness, from which that glorious and heavy flow of creation would be streaming. From which that glorious and heavy flow of creation is streaming now. From the very depths of the depths, I was dancing with you. From this first flow of senses, embracing ever living life in your breath. The way I like to understand that phrase is, I've been with you, within you, always as close as your breath. So this is what we call Divine Mother, Holy Wisdom. So the way I like to understand her, and this is very different from most of our traditional ways of connecting spiritually, teach us to connect out to a being, which is why I have a hard time calling her a goddess, because we personify those. She is the unseen energy that weaves in and out of everything. She moves silently, although she's not very silent right now. But she's the in-between, the substance that thinks. She's the bond between us all. And you can, to know her, it's like you have to feel her. She's the essence that breathes us. She creates energetic exchange. So when we experience it, like between the energetic exchange of the elements in our bodies, she creates it between the elements and between us as individuals. She's what we call love. The love that you feel when you look in your child's eyes, or when you look at a sunset. When I drive every morning and look at the lushness of nature all around me, the love that you feel when you're held by your beloved. She is that tantric connection, that in between that runs through everything. She holds it all together. She is holy wisdom. She existed before anything physical existed, and she birthed it all. So my goal, just like the last one with this summit, is to give holy wisdom a voice and to deepen your relationship with her, to allow you to see, feel, and know the true fierceness of her love, because we're seeing it all around us right now. Once again, I want her to speak what needs to be spoken right now. Things are so much different than they were a year ago. She always speaks best through us. And in fact, that's the only way she speaks. So think for a moment about what's happening in the world right now. It may feel in your nervous system like the whole world is in a state of emergency, or maybe it has been in a state of emergency for so long you've acclimated to that. And this new frenetic energy that kind of runs in your body is your new normal. Most of us, when we look around, know that this is the breakdown before the breakthrough, before the restructuring of the new. And I think everyone on here knows that that remedy, the fixing of it, the establishing, the laying down of what's next for the next 7 generations, that's up to us. But in our humanness right now, our bodies are fully engaged, probably, I mean, much more than they were 5 years ago, in high-level stress responses. We're being triggered by what we see. We're being triggered by what we watch, what we're feeling in our bodies, what we're carrying from our own unhealed trauma earlier in our lives, not to mention ancestral and past lives, and just what's going on the planet. And we may feel like we don't have the bandwidth to do anything, to handle anymore. This is bugging me, so I'm gonna move this. It's like, Lori, I'm gonna answer Lori's question. She says, is Sophia from a certain lineage, belief system? All of them. Sophia is the Greek word, the Greek translation of chokmah in the Aramaic, or holy wisdom. But if you really want to get to know her, she's the feminine essence in everything. And I'll explain, you'll get a better taste as we go on, but you'll notice that I don't bring in any traditional goddesses from all the different traditions, and there's many. She speaks through all of them, all of them. She is that, or the not that. And it's a little bit difficult for our physical brains to take that in. But I'm going to try to help you find her today. And I promise you, even though she hides, she never left. This is from Caitlin Matthews, and it was written a few years ago, so I'll ad lib a little bit. Sophia is a guerrilla combat goddess, attired in camouflage veils so completely that many Orthodox spiritualities never realized that the goddess was still accompanying them. So there are some traditions, there's not a whole lot of feminine essence there. But that doesn't mean she's not there. She's everywhere. She's the glue that holds everything together. Sophia plays, hides, adapts, disguises, brings justice. The goddess did not simply die out or go into cold storage 2,000 years ago to be revived today in the same form she manifested then. If the goddess wanted to survive and accompany her people, surely she would have done so in a skillful and subtle manner. She's the great lost goddess who has remained intrinsically gently within the Orthodox spiritualities. She is veiled, blackened, denigrated, and ignored most of the time. She's allowed to be a messenger, a mediator, a helper, a handmaid. She's rarely allowed the privilege of being seen to be in charge, fully self-possessed and creatively operative. But she shows up. She's going to show up for you through all of the speakers. She's going to come to you in a myriad of ways because she is the Divine Mother. When we think of wisdom, how do we gain wisdom? Through our physical experience. Most of the time, it's through messing up. It's through making a choice in our physical experience that we regret. And then we will never make that choice again, or we will do our best not to. And that is where we gain our deepest wisdom. Holy wisdom, what we're going to learn here in a little bit, lives inside of everyone. We have all had those opportunities. She is the tiny little spark, your first dimensional self that lives inside your heart. And the reason we haven't been able to find her, this is the big secret, is because we've been taught to look out there, to look at all the different goddesses, all the different people, all the different ways that she expresses. And we've forgotten that she's right here. That's where holy wisdom lives. So she, that holy wisdom, can't be seen in any physical form, or you could say she's seen in all of them. But for her to individuate as a form, Her frequency is too high to withstand this realm, especially right now. But we can. And we can bring her through because she has not left us. She's right here, right now, when the veils are thin enough for her to come through you without being seen, but certainly being felt and known. And look around at the planet right now. The chaos, the confusion, the upheaval. She's cleaning things up. She is making herself known. And when she wants to be seen, you'll know it. But truly, the way she works the best, the way she shines, is shining through all of us, all of you, me. So I've gathered 25 people who have allowed her to do that. Again, we did this last year. This year, I'm always blown away by what she does, who she picks, what comes through them when she does. I have learned, once again, I feel like I've learned more on just doing these interviews than I knew before I started, definitely than I knew before I started. And this one's different. The speakers did not hold back a thing. They brought you real stories, real life, the down, the dirty, the ugly, and how to pull yourself up out of that. And there is such a variety. There's singing, there's slideshows, there's some of the free gifts include, names that you'll recognize. I mean, it's just like a kaleidoscope of opportunities for you to, it's one thing to get fed, and that's what we want to do, is feed you through this summit. But it's another thing to step forward and to begin to live your vision right now in real life all the time, even in the midst of everything that's happening around us. It's happening to all of us. Some of the, sometimes in my brain, if I let myself operate from there, and, we've been trained to do that, it's hard to wrap my head around to just keep doing what I'm doing, even when you see everything happening, to just stay focused, stay the course, keep going. But that's what we're called to do right now. That is what is going to bring in the future. And it's not just the 25 people you get to hear this time. It's all of you. And there's over 1,000 of you here. That's a really good foothold. 1,000 people doing sacred ceremony from today, the Gemini new moon, until next Sunday, the summer solstice. That is potent, potent, potent. Here's why. Well, let me tell you what we have in store for you first. Now, I had to borrow Neil's recording from last year. I couldn't not let him be on here, but he was busy doing Shift Network stuff and couldn't be here live in an interview. So you get a rerun. But it's a worthy one. And I venture to guess that even if you were here last year, you'll like to dip your toe into that again. And then Alethea Sophia, she's been around at nearly every single summit I've ever done. She's bringing you the Magdalene Path, 7 Thresholds of the Soul. You're going to hear that word soul a lot. Excuse me, because that's where we're learning to connect from. That is where you find your own flavor of holy wisdom. And many of you already know this, but in case you don't, there is a physiological location for that in your physical body. It's your heart, your first dimensional self, your little slice of divine Sophia lives right there. And you can find it, you can generate it, you can build from it. So today, you get me and you get these two. I kept it light for today because I want you to really treat this as ceremony. There aren't as many speakers this year, her choice, because you want to savor this. You want to be in ceremony with it, not just go gobble it all up. So be conscious, be present with it. Now, I haven't listed all of the speakers just because that would be redundant. You have it on the event schedule page. But I do want to tell you what's on deck for tomorrow. Jane Ashley, Holy Wisdom, Sacred Union, and the Return to the Body. Stephanie Redfeather, I loved and still left. The moment love and truth are no longer the same. Miriam Katz, what Sophia teaches us about sacred boundaries and how to strategically create and dissolve them. Taria Ward, get out of the playpen of your rational mind and move to the world beyond thought. And Cheryl Prince, finding her wisdom within yourself. All of these, top notch. You won't want to miss any of them. Or what's coming for the rest of the week. Here's how you get access. And I think if you're here, I think you probably have a handle on this, but you'll want to keep one of those emails that has the event schedule page in it so you can go in there. Oops. This is going to last from this today until next Sunday. Now, you're going to get feeds of new people every day, except for the weekend. We'll open the whole thing up for the weekend. And then we'll come back together Sunday and do ceremony again together, same time as we did it today, next week. So this is really a container from the 14th to the 21st. Keep that event schedule page handy, but know that you're going to get emails. And just ride with me. I know some of you don't like all the emails. Just ride with me for a week. You know, just give her a chance for a week. I'll do my best to only keep it to 2 a day, 1 in the morning and 1 at night. The 1 in the morning is going to have, well, even the 1 at night is going to have the next days in there. The 1 in the morning is going to have the one for that day. And in there, they'll all be listed, the speakers for that day. If you click on their name, you can go right to their page. So if you lose the event schedule page, watch your email. You'll have an email where you can go to the ones that are available. Now, you may see them up on the pages because I put them up there this morning, but they should not work because they're not public yet. I'll make them public. Everything on the event schedule page says 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. Every day. That's just to give myself a cushion. Those of you that have been here before know that. They'll probably be available by 7 a.m. Central Time. So if you want to go in and check, you certainly can. Once they are made live, they're available for 48 hours. So you'll have a couple of days to watch day 1, a couple of days to watch day 2, and so on. And it'll just jog that way. Once again, a significant portion of everything we get through lifetime access goes to Many Hopes. If you haven't watched the video, you have to watch the video. It'll bring you to tears. It's, I think, the coolest. They don't like to be called a charity because they're not. They say charity is dead, but they train survivors of child trafficking in whatever they want to do. They put them in school, they heal them, they get them back together on their feet. And they've done it long enough now that many of those survivors are going out and getting more and bringing them back in. So I lived that, and I know that it's true. A survivor will go and create another one. So what they have going on is very potent and powerful. She handpicked them and just laid it in my lap. I knew nothing about them, and boom, they showed up on my feed. And last year we were able to give over $2,000 to them. So I want to keep doing that. So if you aren't going to have time to watch all of them and you want to, I think there's an email floating around out there with the low price of $44, or the everyday price that is going to happen today and beyond is $77. So you're welcome to pick whichever one. So today, just dip your toe in and swim in the sweet mama love of holy wisdom. You're going to feel her. And try to do that all week. You know, this is by its nature, is a ceremony building up to summer solstice. And Kaylin is here, and she talks about why this is so important right now on Tuesday. So you get to hear all of what we're doing and why. But here's what I know about ceremony. It puts us in direct contact with what I call the soul of the world, divine Sophia, holy wisdom. It puts you in direct contact with the holy wisdom all around us and the holy wisdom that lives inside your heart. In another version of the story, she's a big creator spirit called an ion. So this is fleshing out the first story I shared. These are great spiritual forces emanating directly from source that live in the pleroma, which is the black hole that birthed our galaxy. She emerged from the pleroma as a river of light who expanded out into the two arms of chaos in the galaxy. And from there, she dreamed the dream of anthropos. And you're going to hear that word thrown around a lot this week. Divine humans. And what that means is humans, beings that can carry both divine source energy and physical energy in their body. So divine energy from source, divine energy from the earth, and a physical body to house them in that doesn't burn up, that doesn't self-destruct. You know, part of what we're feeling in our bodies right now is more of her coming in, more of that light, activating strands in our DNA. This is why ceremony is important. So she fell in love with that dream. I can feel her love for that dream, for us. What a perfect idea. And so she left the safety of the pleroma, the black hole, and she expanded herself out into the galaxy and solidified herself into this planet. This planet is her physical body. And her spirit is that organic white light we can communicate with through ceremony. We are physiologically, spiritually, emotionally, all the ways, her children. So connecting with her in this way activates those codes in our DNA that have become dormant from lack of use. This is why our bodies feel the way they do. By coming into contact with her on a regular basis, we establish communication with her, and these pathways are reactivated. It heals us and it heals her. It makes the big light that's coming in more tolerable. So this is your golden opportunity to do that. Now, this doesn't have to be big or elaborate. Just showing up, watching an occasional video. You have shown up for this one. So when you show up and watch an occasion, you're in the ceremony with us. But if you want to ritualize it a little bit for yourself, maybe you commit to watching one a day, or maybe you light a candle. Maybe you just make a conscious connection with your own holy wisdom regularly. I realize we're all busy. We all have a lot going on. Maybe this whole week you keep a journal handy and you let the thoughts, the wisdom that wants to flow through you, flow through you. So just a few little ideas that you might want to ponder this week. What is devotion? What does it look like? What did I agree with the divine that I would do while I was here? What is my purpose beyond self? Maybe you know those, maybe you don't. Maybe you might come up with something new. Because the changes we're seeing aren't going to go away. There is no getting back to the way it was. We have moved into the galactic rim. Galactic light is hitting the planet more and more and more. Solar flares, all the light coming from all different planets, etc. It's all activating the tectonic plates in the planet. It's activating our bodies. It's activating our DNA. So right now, it may feel like everyone is in a mad dash to create new things, to find new ways that can support us through these changes. One thing that we all are figuring out is that we have to come from a higher place, a place of higher wisdom, the wisdom of the heart, the wisdom of your soul. So allow these teachers to teach you how to do that. And if you haven't figured out the secret yet, that is the secret. That secret was subtly, if I had, now many of you have been around the block with me a few times. You already know the answer to these questions. But for those of you that are new, when was the first time do you even know where your first dimension is? Or your second? No one ever told us that. No one ever shared that information. We knew where third was, fourth. We all want to go to the fifth. But our first and second dimensions, the most pivotal, if we are not leading, if we aren't making our decisions from holy wisdom, our soul, then we're missing out. We don't have access to just a smattering of our gifts, a smattering of our physiological energy. And we've been using our physiological energy to do the things that we know Spirit wants us to do, and we haven't been able to tap from true source because we haven't tapped in to our own holy wisdom. We reach out to all the other goddesses, to all the other gods, but we don't go in. And yet, every single tradition has that buried in its teachings somewhere. And we missed it until now. That was by design, because when you keep humans, these beautiful, divine humans, anthropos, when you keep them afraid, when you keep them needy, when you keep them in fear, they're controllable. They can be manipulated. They can be led. We don't have time for that anymore. There isn't time for us to figure that out. This is a free will planet. Our soul is never going to come knocking on our door. She will listen. She will wait until we figure it out. Until we figure out that the thinking and the striving and the trying is never going to get us where we want or where we need to go. When we drop out of our head, our ego, and let go of our attachment to figuring it out, when we truly find our soul through the door of our heart and let in divine wisdom, let her lead, the world is going to feel much safer. Now, my free gift on my page goes deeply into all of that. Please feel free to avail yourself of that, because I don't have time to teach all of that today. But the truth of the matter is, when your holy wisdom is in charge, your fear evaporates. And suddenly, you don't just feel less afraid. The world is safer because you're not afraid. And when you're not feeding that, when you're feeding the holy wisdom inside of you, there's a fundamental shift that happens, and it's happening everywhere. So let this be the moment it happens for you. And if it's happened before, let it happen again. And do your best to keep it there. So you may not find her by learning or studying about her, but you will definitely find her by feeling by listening, by sensing, and by knowing. You'll find her in the in-between. The space is known only to your heart. So once again, join us here next week for the conclusion of the summit. Until then, soak up everything, as much of the goodness as you can. We all spring from her night of silent unknowing, where dreams come not, from that blessed nothingness that holds all and weaves together the loose ends of time and space. The only way she can work on this planet is through you. All right, we're going to dance and close. Let me see if there's anything on here I need to answer. Yeah. All right, here we go. And I guess this can be on YouTube since I couldn't share it. Get up and move. Ceremony's not over till we dance. All right, everyone, give me about 5 minutes and I'll have the next two up. All right, I'm gonna stop the share so you can all see each other and start my video. I give thanks to the elemental forces for holding space for us today. I give thanks for these beautiful souls that are doing their sacred work on the planet. And I close this circle in the light. All right, lovelies.
Kathy,
Yes.
what was the first song you wanted to play?
I'm going to work it out so I can play it next Sunday. Okay. So I'll do what I need to do. I realized why it wasn't going to work today. So I'll figure it out. All right, loves. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Kathy.
Mhm.